Hello and welcome to another beautiful day in sunny Nova Scotia, and welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Gardener. My name is Steve Farley. So today I'm going to show you how to save money by dividing and multiplying your cannas. Spring has sprung in Nova Scotia, well ish. The snow is slowly receding back into the more shady areas of the garden, and today it's going to reach a heady 9 degrees C. Might even be able to take my fleece off. I've been completing the finishing touches to my pool deck that I built last year. I want it to have a tropical feel with big glossy leaf plants with bright flowers. And this tiered raised bed that I've built, I think is going to look rather nice with a row of cannas radiating their bright colours out onto Mrs F as she's sunbathing, making her think she's in the Bahamas rather than Nova Scotia. Cannas are great plants for introducing a bit of tropical opulence to the garden. They've got everything really, the big glossy leaves and the beautiful bright flowers, big flowers as well, in a range of different hot colours, reds and yellows and bright oranges. So instead of me sitting here showing off my deck, why don't we relocate to the temporary potting shed, and I can show you how you can save that money by dividing and multiplying your cannas. Hello, and as you can see I've relocated inside Farley Towers to the temporary potting shed. If you can hear any background noise, that's just Mrs F grumbling about any of the mess I might be making. So the canna, as its beautiful glossy leaves and the lush flowers suggest it's from a more tropical climate. But it can be grown in most any countries as long as you get a good 6 to 8 hours of sunshine during the summer. But it's not hardy, so it needs to be brought into a frost-free area during the winter. If you've grown it in the ground, then just lift it and bring it in, and you can store it in a box of moss or dry compost. Or like me, if you've grown it in a pot, you could just bring the pot into a cool frost-free room for the winter, and that's about as much as you need to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tip this pot out, and we can have a look at the engine of the canna, the rhizomes. You can see I've got this out of the pot. I took a bit of wiggling and woggling, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split this up, and we can have a good look at the actual rhizomes themselves. Don't be too afraid of messing about with the roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this saw here, and I'm just basically going to saw it up to get in amongst all the roots. Oh, there's an old stone I had there from before. Let's cut this one. Right, so as you can see, the canna under the earth is basically has its growing medium is these underground shoots, and what they're called rhizomes, and that's where it's got all its food and keeps its water. And at the end of the rhizome you will have some sort of bulblet. You've got one here, an old one, and there's two new ones at the end here. So what you need to do is, when you want to split them up, if you've got nice big ones like this, you can just split it, but you just need to make sure each one of the rhizomes has got some sort of growing shoot coming out of it. So that is going to grow another nice beautiful plant. So that's one. Another big one there. That's two, and I could probably split that again. These are the old roots. It's not much of a problem that you're actually losing these. Like I said, it's the rhizomes themselves that have got the growing engine in them. So we'll get rid of this in here. So that's two. Got a nice big thick bit of rhizome in there. And we've got another one here. So if I give this a bit of a tidy off, we can have a look to see what we can cut up, because I think we can probably cut this into at least another one here. One. There, I think. There we go. So I'm going to keep this one. There's one there. See, at the end of this bulb, at the end of this rhizome, we've got another little bulblet. So that's a growing there. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is I'll have a quick tidy up here, and then I shall move on to show you how to repot them up. Okay, so I've had a bit of a tidy up. Now, from the initial one plant, we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on this one here, I could actually be greedy and cut that one in half, because I've got 2 bulblets there, and I've actually got another one just starting to grow up there. So I could cut that into 2 and get another plant. But I want to have a good display this year, so I'm up on the pool deck, so I'm going to leave that as it is. But this one here, I've got 1, 2, and there's another one coming up here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be greedy, and I'm going to give this one more cut. Looks quite butchering, but it's not going to do the plant any harm whatsoever. So now I've got another 2 plants. So I've actually got 6 plants now from that first plant. So that's definitely saving a bit of money. Okay, so how do we pot them up? So the actual cannas, they've got nice, as you can see, they develop nice big root systems. So you want a nice big pot, what are they, a gallon or something like that. And then you want to get your pot and fill it about 2/3 full, and here's one I handily prepared earlier, 2/3 full of compost. Any good free draining compost is good enough, especially if you're only putting them in here for a temporary. But as I said, a good free draining compost, some crocks at the bottom of the actual pot itself to help with the drainage, make sure it's got holes. So then we get our rhizome, and what I'm going to do here as well is that, and actually what you want to do is to tidy it up a bit. It's last year's shoots coming up. Let's give that a bit of a trim off, give it a haircut, and there we go. And what we're going to do is we'll just place it nice and firmly onto the actual compost, and if you've got lots of roots coming down, just spread them out around the actual pod itself. And then just cover it with compost. Now, It's okay if any of the actual shoots that are coming up are sticking up, but make sure all of the roots around are covered with compost. Give that a bit more. And then give it a bit of a water. And there you go. Put this in an area, nice warm area, not in direct sunlight. And then after a couple of weeks, the shoots will start to grow up. And then once the shoots unfurl, then you can move it into an area with a bit more sunlight. And then once the last frost has gone, then you can move it outside, plant it up into the ground itself, or a new pot, or leave it in this pot. But I'll be potting mine up on the pool deck, and hopefully you'll see the progress of that at some stage during the year. So I hope you found this video useful. If you liked it, please click the like button below. And if you've got any comments or questions, don't hesitate to put them down on the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'll be uploading videos hopefully weekly now on a Sunday throughout the growing season. So please click the subscribe button if you want updates weekly, and go to my channel page for any other. I've got lots of other handy tips and tricks, and hopefully lots of ideas to help inspire you to make the garden you really want yours to be. So without further ado, I'm the Optimistic Gardener. Good night.